Alright, good morning. So, finally back to streaming again. I think in that time I've completely replaced my PC since my last stream, so none of my audio levels will be right, and I may have forgotten to set some things back up, so let me know how the audio sounds this morning. If I need to tweak the volume up and down for the music, let me know. As for what we'll be doing today, going to make a start on version 0.6.2 of BurntToast. It's going to be a little bit shorter of a stream this morning. We'll just get some of the groundwork done, and more than anything, make sure that the streaming setup's all actually working now. So I guess we'll just dive in. Feel free to get in touch via the chat, and yeah, morning. So I guess the first thing we need to do is create a branch. That's always helpful. And ashamedly, I still haven't learnt the git command line, so desktop client to the rescue. And I'm not sure. Let me try turning on and off my mic. I'll see if that helps. Right, how's that? Turn the music down just a touch as well. Awesome. So, I'm not sure if YouTube's going to mangle my links like I used to. If you want to follow along, there's the link to the branch on GitHub. Obviously there's nothing in there yet, but I'll try and commit as we go, and yep, we'll try and commit as I go. In fact, I can probably test whether or not that link works. Well, it's working for me, so that's better than it was 3 or 4 months ago. Okay. So, I guess the first thing I'll do is start a changelog for this version. Yeah, I think, well, I complained about the links not working a few times. So hopefully they figured that out. Right, that's the README started. Let's also increase the version number in our PSD1 file and clear the release notes. Right, let's get something in there. Right, so the first thing I want to do is update the UWP toolkit, and that's the wrong site. The UWP toolkit. I should probably read what I'm clicking on. So I forget what version I'm using at the moment, but the latest version is 2.2. I think I'm using a 1. something release. So we'll go and grab the latest. Right, grab the DLL. Cool. That should be all we need. Now I guess we should make sure this actually works. It was there anyway. Cool. Sorry, still waking up. So, I've just grabbed this development version of BurntToast and chucked it in my modules folder, so in theory I can test that things are actually working. Specifically with that toolkit, just need to make sure, you know, it actually still works, and luckily it does. That's a good start. So, I do remember there being a bug, and I don't think this has actually been listed on the repo yet, or at all. But currently, and in order for this to be heard properly, let me pause the music. If I specify a sound that isn't an alarm or a call sound, so say the instant message sound. Oh, I just realized I forgot to do something. Give me 1 second, the screen's going to go a bit funky. There you go, you can actually see the screen now. I use a screen that has a funky resolution, and I turn the resolution down to 720p when I stream, and I forgot to do that this morning. So the stream looks like it's alright. I'll just wait for YouTube to catch up. Yep, cool, looks like it's alright. So, as I was saying, if I use a short sound, it's looping, and it shouldn't loop. It should loop if I use a sound like call 10. But that's because they're designed to loop, and when you use them you'd expect them to. So Oh, and I happen to know from playing around with this that that only happens when you use the new BurntToast notification function. So it's not a bug deeper down with, say, new BT audio. So if I come down here, we're going to have sound in here somewhere. And as you can see, I've got an if statement here for handling that, whether or not it's an alarm or call sound. So in theory, if it's an alarm or a call, it should add loop, but it's adding loop regardless. So that's a pretty simple bug to get rid of. We get rid of the second loop. And we can update that. This is the fun part of using a toolkit like that. Fine, I'll do it this way. Alright. Now when I run this, call should still loop. We'll quickly test that. I'm sorry about making you listen to this. Cool, so it's looped. Now if I go and do instant message again, we just get it the one time. Awesome. So we've updated just trying to remember to keep the release notes up to date this time, because I have a bad habit of not doing that and then struggling to remember what I've done after the fact. Okay. Recently, there was a thing come up where on Reddit, I'm just pulling up the gist for this, where someone had created a script to query their printer's toner levels. And basically they were showing a toast notification when the levels got low, but they were showing one notification for each toner. So if multiple of them were low, then they'd get multiple toasts. I'll turn the music back on, it's sounding a bit boring. And that was really cool, and it got me thinking, you could show the toner level using a progress bar in those toasts. unfortunately, in new BurntToast with the progress bar, notice it's not allowing a more than one value, more than one progress bar being supplied. The toasts themselves will actually take multiple progress bars. And so at the moment, in order to do that, you've got to dive into all of these, like the underlying functions that sit behind the simple new BurntToast notification function. And if I go and run all of these, fingers crossed it actually works. Although I know for a fact this won't, so let me update that for this computer. Is that where we're sitting? Good. Cool. So if I go ahead and run this, let's hope it works. Cool. So as you can see, multiple progress bars work absolutely fine. So I want to be able to expose doing this via the main function, because frankly I don't see any reason not to. It's a really easy change, I hope. So if we dive back into new BurntToast notification, we'll look for progress bars right here, and in theory we should be able to just specify that it can take a collection of them. And update this to show progress bar objects. Make it a little bit clear in the help text there that can be multiple progress bars now. And then down here, this is going to need to be a loop. Oop, mistyping already. So now, if we've got a progress bar defined, we'll go through and loop through each progress bar and add it to the child objects. That should get us to the point where we can provide multiple progress bars directly onto the new BurntToast function. And if I go ahead and update these again, and borrow all of those so I don't need to think about them, let's go ahead and give that a whirl. So, create our progress bars. Cool. I forgot to actually look at that. Let me blow up the screen a bit. Right, that should make... Hey, morning Andrew. that should make the text a little bit easier to read. Let me blow this up a bit too. There we go. Again, these are all things that I used to have dialed in, but like I said at the start, I've completely replaced my PC since my last stream, so yeah, it's going to be a work in progress again. Right. So now if I provide my progress bars, I should be able to just comma separate them. Perfect. For some reason, despite logically knowing that was a simple change, I wasn't expecting that to work the first try. Awesome. Oh, hey Brett. Cool. I'm chuffed that that's working, so keep an eye out when the next release comes out. If you want to play around with progress bars, now you can have more than one without doing this monstrosity. Let's quickly add that to the thing. Yeah, it's the whole progress bar thing is something I keep trying to remind myself that you don't just have to use them for progress. Like anything that's a value, a percentage of something you can figure out, well, you can represent with a progress bar. Cool. Now I had an issue come while we're on the topic of progress bars. I had this issue come through. Oh good, it was this year. When I saw that date there, I thought, oh geez, have I left this for over a year? But no, that's alright. We're due to this person's regional settings. They're not actually able to provide values to the progress bar. Now he's suggesting my mouse is behaving weirdly. Suggesting changing the type being used. So let's give it a go, I think.
let's give it a shot. So, we finally open another file. Take a stab in the dark and say that it's the BT progress bar file. And wow, I think this mouse is on the way out. I'm just going to pause myself and mute myself and try and get this mouse working. Jeez, random clicks going off on my screen. Alright, not sure that's any better, but let's keep going. Okay, so I'm taking the value in as a double. His example showed this step here, progress bar dot value equals value, and casting it as a bindable object. So let's give that a shot. I'm going to need the type installed. In fact, let's do it properly. Why aren't you completing? Fingers still waking up. I don't have them in a subfolder, do I? Wow. Okay. Ah, dear. Get to watch me completely forget how my entire folder structure is set up. There we go. So I've got the type loaded. Now, if I jump over here, we'll reference it. So, square brackets. Bindable progress bar value looks about what I'm looking for. And we'll create a new one based on the value. just this one morning though, I think, right? Let's get rid of that. Yeah, well, considering when I did my lightning demo, at that point in time, I literally, or rather, when I recorded my lightning demo, I really couldn't remember at all whether or not the underlying toasts could accept multiple progress bars. I remember having a little comment to myself near the end of the video about it. So some of these things, well, like some parts of this BurntToast function I wrote 3 years ago now, 3 or 4 years ago, so yeah, sometimes it's hard to recall parts of it. So when that issue was opened, the user mentioned that making this change resolved the issue for them on their machine. So I guess we should test it on my machine and make sure it still works here as well. Yep. So the basic function still works, and if we go ahead and wow, that's an interesting development. What's the word I'm looking for? v0.6.2. Jeez. Okay. I don't see progress bar on that list. That is troubling. Progress bars on that list. Huh. Let's give that another shot, maybe as admin. The term for function, did I fat finger something? I fat fingered something. How? Okay, that one can't be forgiven. Oh dear. Like, I just opened this file. I didn't even muck around at the top of it. That's impressive. I don't see any red text this time, and we've got progress bar, so that's a good start. Right. Let's get some progress bars. Cool. So it hasn't broken anything on this end, which means, assuming it fixed the other person's issue, cool. So that was issue 28. 'So might as well call it out in the release notes. Uh, 28. Should now is regions the right word? Locales. Locales. I have butchered that, I'm sure of it. I do not trust myself at this point, given my track record. Nope, apparently that is perfect. Let's also put that in here, except no link because the PowerShell gallery probably won't like that. And let's go ahead and commit that. How's the music level, guys? I know I asked at the start, but my robot voice was more of an issue at the time. Let me pop it up a bit. And hopefully I haven't gone too far with it. Ah, awesome. Okay, so I'm only going to be going for about another 20 minutes or so. And in that time, I want to check whether or not Snooze and Dismiss is currently working. So in the Fall Creators update, Snooze and Dismiss stopped working, and that's... nope, there it is. Yeah, so it's still not there. I have a feeling 1803 may fix that. But I haven't updated this machine yet, and I'm a little bit reluctant to update this machine because it broke my laptop. So, if you saw me tweeting about 1803 yesterday and default apps and nagging and stuff, yeah, that was when I was reinstalling Windows on my work laptop, which was a fun time. But at this point I want to dive in and double check what this is doing here. I have a feeling the underlying commandlets are exactly the same, and it's an issue with the Windows version, unfortunately. So Snooze and Dismiss should be just a switch. And if I look for it down below, we're adding a BT action Snooze and Dismiss. Okay. So let's go and have a look at BT action. We've got Snooze and Dismiss here. And if Snooze and Dismiss is a thing, go and use the object, add that to toast actions. Sorry, I am mumbling. I'm just if I wasn't streaming, this is about the level of volume I'd have. I'd be sort of muttering it to myself as I'm reading through the script. Cool, so in theory, I'm just outputting this object. I wonder if there's anything to actually see. We're outputting one of those. Let's see if there's anything in there that we're missing. Doesn't look like it, it's just what it is. Okay. So I'm not sure if this is what this object's meant to look like. What does this object look like? No, it is the right object type. Okay, I have to assume then that that's correct. And that this must be a full creators update issue. So between now and my next stream, I'll either update this machine to 1803 or get a VM running where I can test it in, just to verify whether or not it's been fixed. Might also find the machine with an older version of of Windows 10 on it to see that it did used to work. Right, let's have a look through the issues together and see if there's anything else we can work on. So I was just looking at the snooze and dismiss one. Notifications faded in Action Center. That one there's still going to be a major pain. Let's have a look at this. It should be possible. Okay. So basically, we need to figure out if it's possible to get internet-based images usable in a toast. And in theory, I don't see why not. Let's find an image real quick. I'm doing this off screen, I just don't want to risk any copyright stuff because YouTube's pretty hot on that at the moment. Alright, sure. Let's see. That one might be a bit big, but let's give it a shot. So I've specified a URL for my app logo, which should show here. Yeah, I really don't want to poke the YouTube bear after having a 3-month ban there for a while. Jeez. Now I'm wondering if it just needs a smaller image. Like one that it can load a little bit faster. So let's try this one. Come on, oh, too far. No. Now I guess the question is that not working because it doesn't work? Or is it not working because I did something wrong in implementing how that should work? Assuming, you know, that it's meant to work that way. So, let's look at app logo. Up in here, it just takes a string and it's a path to an image. Sure. So, we're literally going through to BurntToast image. It's an app logo override with a circle crop. Let's have a look at BT image. And we were doing a source, which I completely missed because it's the first thing. Okay, that's just taking a string, URI to the image. According to the documentation, that has to be 100% correct. Can be part of the application package, application data, or the internet. This is probably a key one. Internet and images must be less than 200 kilobytes. If you're wondering where this came from, it's actually the inspired by the help text out of the UWP toolkit repo. So where they've got a source on the, do I have it here? Adaptive image object type. I've read what their description of it was and used that to help speed up writing all of this help text. So it's not actually me saying it's the internet, it's them saying the internet at work and taking it on face value that it should work. But let's follow this through because I could have done something stupid further down that would stop this from working. And literally all I do is provide the source to the image object, which should be a Toast generic app logo. Let's go and have a look at one of those. Don't do that. So it does have a source, it's got a crop. I wonder if I go ahead and save this very relevant picture, which is technically less than 200 kilobits, but we'll kilobytes, but we'll do some work to make it even smaller. It's currently 4:21. I'm starting to think about breakfast. So let's make this a lot smaller. We'll save it as a let's drop the quality a bunch to make it even easier to load. So 16 kilobytes, that should be nice and small. What I'm doing on my other screen is just uploading this to a New Zealand image hosting site, so hopefully it's nice and close and quick to load. And if we run it, it doesn't work. Now, what if it just doesn't work for app logos? Do we allow other images to come through here? Ooh, I've written myself to-dos in here. So, I don't allow other images. Great. Which means I need this again. So, if you don't remember, this is the code I used at the start of the stream for the progress bar demo thingy. But I'm using this time to test something else. Particularly this bit. I just want a standard image. I want to pull it from the internet, so the source is that. I don't care about audio. Goodbye. I don't care about progress bars. I do care about progress bars, but don't actually want them in there, and I don't want a app logo override. Alright. All of that looks fine. Alright, distraction's gone. We can provide an image to this. In fact, before doing it like this, let's make sure it works for a local image. Alright. Love the auto completion when it works. Let's go with that one. Right, let's check that all of that goes. So, we have our image. This is what it looks like when it's a local image, and when you've specified the image is one of the children rather than app logo. It's being helpful in that it's trying to complete the, it's giving me the the single quote marks to make everything valid, blah blah blah, but it then stops the completion working, and it just does my head in every single time, and I never remember. But that was an image within the body of a toast rather than as the app logo. Now let's see if I can pull that from the internet. And I'm hopeful. I mean, I'm always very optimistic, but it didn't work. So I guess the question is there something I can be doing to make that work? Because according to the documentation, that should be okay. Let's try one more thing. Let's do it as a hero image. No, but just because I like how hero images look, let's give it a try locally as well. That one. Huzzah! Okay, so I'm going to need to do some digging into that. Just thinking through it now. I wonder if it's this. I've been using random websites to serve up those images. I wonder if we can use GitHub's CDN to do it. So if I grab one of these examples, yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. Does this actually take me to the image? Yes, it does. Cool. So if I use that, no. But just to complete everything, let's go back to a standard image and see if that makes a difference. No. You can see it's left a space there for, like, if this was just that piece of text there, this toast should be slimmer. So it's left a space there for the image, but the image isn't loading in there. I guess I can confirm that that's right. I'm just making wild assumptions. Yeah, see, so there's, well, the toast is the same height, but it's more centered because it's not making room for an image that isn't loading. Yeah. So I think I need to go back to the UWP people and ask that question, find out if I'm doing something wrong, and if I'm not, I need to update the help document, my help, so that it doesn't advertise the fact that it should work, and then I need to make a call on that issue. Alright, so that neatly hits 4:30, so I've been going for an hour and I'm going to be going back to bed. Getting a little bit of sleep before having to go off to work. Let's just make sure I haven't got anything uncommitted. No, cool. So I'll drop a link to this branch in chat again, since YouTube seems to be allowing it. So if you want to see the code from today, here's the link to the branch. And it worked this morning. Yep, cool. So YouTube doesn't appear to be mangling my links anymore, which is a good change. Yep, thanks for hanging out this morning, Andrew, and everyone else. Yeah, it looks like everything that needed to work worked. I just didn't do some of the changes before going live that I normally make, like resolution and scaling in VS Code and all that sort of stuff, but nothing that couldn't be overcome. So hopefully next time, so in theory, I'll be trying to go back to what I was setting up as my stream schedule last time, which got me banned, which will be New Zealand time, Tuesday morning and Thursday morning. So I think those will be Monday and Wednesday for everyone else in the world. But follow me on Twitter or subscribe here on YouTube. I'll be posting the links and you can set yourself reminders. I'll try and schedule them ahead of time, and yeah, going forward they'll be a little bit longer than this one and they'll be slightly more structured. This one I just had a couple of issues I knew I wanted to hit on the head, and yeah, we nailed all the ones I wanted, so I'd call this a win. But in general, thanks for tuning in this morning, guys. It was good seeing you all back. Yeah, I'm probably going to be awake for another quarter of an hour, half an hour, so if you've got any questions, hit me up on Twitter and I'll try and respond coherently. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.